in our tradition.
It's my new beaker.
Oh, that sounded quite nice. Are you nervous?
No.
Oh.
Do you think I should be? Isn't it more fun if I'm like on edge and a bit anxious? Okay, like I'm really nervous.
It's been a while since Adam's been here. I don't even want to work it out because it will probably upset me. I don't like how you haven't been on this channel very much, so...
To be fair, I feel like in the long run, like you haven't made as many personal videos like this.
I've barely been on the channel, let alone you.
You've hardly been on, so not surprisingly.
And a lot of the content that I make now probably doesn't even interest you because I've kind of steered direction a little bit deliberately. I don't know about you, but I feel we've just been busy doing things. Like you working from home actually means that home is basically work. All work, no play. So I thought because it's been a while and because you've probably forgotten who this little lad even is.
Especially with his hair. Like.
Oh yeah, I cut all his hair off. I was supposed to give him a trim. Next minute I'm like, he looks like the little boy from Goodnight Mr.
You never know what you're going to get when Ellie cuts your hair. Sometimes she doesn't cut much off at all, so it's basically exactly the same.
Which was last time.
And it needs a cut like a week later, and then the next time she cuts everything off.
Anyway, so to introduce you back onto this channel, I thought it would be a fun idea to make this all about you. You're in the spotlight, you're answering some questions asked by those lot, so don't blame me off for any of them. And also, I'm not going to tell you who anyone was. They're going to be all anonymous.
I might be able to guess some if I know the people who have asked the question. Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. As ready as I ever will be.
Oh, you're so cute. Okay. How should I do this? Should I do it like you're a celebrity?
Oh, God.
Hi, Adam. It's nice to meet you.
Hello.
I've been like such a big fan for so many years.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah, so it's really weird that I'm sat here talking to you. It's crazy. So would you ever be open to talk about your sexuality?
Sure, yeah. Yes. Is my answer. Did you want to like specify or?
If not, no worries. So you can pass.
But if somebody says,
you'll have to take a shot.
If somebody asks if you're open to discussing your sexuality, though, it's like you say yes, and it's like, oh, well. So
you say no, and it's
kind of be weird not to.
Well, there's a reason.
Yeah, people could assume if I don't, but whether it's a boring answer or not, I am straight.
Straight.
And
I was about to say a pancake, but they're quite floppy.
Yeah, and I've said in the past, like, it kind of restricts my world of opportunities and options and stuff. So, like, whenever I've thought about it, it's kind of made us feel a bit, I don't know, uneasy in a way. And that's kind of confirmed, like, that's just not my thing.
That's interesting then. So, like, whereas some person might say, I'm definitely straight, full stop, you've actually, like,
I've thought about it.
Yourself.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
Yeah, it's just not for me.
What were you feeling when you and Ellie moved in together? Love you both.
Oh. I think moving house anyway is an exciting feeling. Once you get past all the horrendous, like, actual physically, like, moving stuff and, like, sorting out the paperwork and stuff like that. Not only was it moving in together for the first time, it was also moving to a new area for Ellie, back to my childhood area. Didn't know what to expect in a way, really. Because, to be fair, you could have turned around at any point and said, I didn't really like this and I want to go back. It's not a big a deal as it seems, like, moving, like, because you can just move back.
I think that one single thought, like, helped me through the entire experience, to be honest, because I kept remembering there's always a plan B, and that's to go back, if, like, undo anything. Because I feel like all of that stuff you were saying about it being a little bit scary and not sure about if I'm going to turn around and not like it and all that stuff, that is something that got in the way a little bit for me to be, like, present in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, I really loved that period. It was such a fun thing to move into a new place. But there was, like, a massive part of my brain that was, like, a bit alert and on the lookout for something bad to happen. And that kind of took away a bit of the experience, so I wish I wasn't so worried about that.
Well, we'll get that again when we move at some point.
True, like, I've been thinking about, like, ooh, we get to do
when
the
we
whole
eventually,
house viewing thing again. And
when we eventually go to buy, because we're obviously renting
but
still.
then that's scary, so then that will overtake the present feeling again, because I'll be like, God, this is mortgage.
No,
this
but
is different.
you've learnt your lesson by now. Like, just don't worry so much. Everything will be alright in the end.
Like, there's sorry.
No, go on. I was going to say...
This is about you and I'm talking.
Yeah. It's fine. Just,
Yeah.
Well, you're part of it as well, obviously. You're like a huge part of like my life and what I've been through. So
Am I?
yeah.
All I was going to say was there's a little couple down the road and they're about our age, maybe younger, and they've just moved into the flat. You can tell because they're like bringing loads of furniture in. We haven't seen them before and the flat looks empty from the outside. I was looking at them the other day and I was just like feeling the feels, and it took me back to like that being us actually this time 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So like watching them was kind of like this weird parallel universe, and I was like, oh, I miss that feeling where the flat was empty and the like possibilities were endless and there was so much to look forward to, and it's like having a sleepover every day when you first move in with someone. It still does feel like that now, to me.
Because you make your life whatever you want to make it when you've got your own place. So like,
it probably does until you have kids.
maybe, yeah. And then it's completely taken over by
It's no longer a sleepover, it's a prison.
happy times, and it's still happy times. So
I think it's good to think back to that, like put yourself back in that moment again, because it's easy to get carried away with the next thing and not just enjoying what you were trying to bring yourself into 3 years ago.
yeah,
Will you be dyeing your hair again?
probably not. The bleaching process was a nightmare. So like I had to bleach it like 3 or 4 times, I think, to actually get it light enough to.
No idea why.
And then I didn't like it enough for it to be worth it. And we were in lockdown as well, so I could kind of experiment. But now we're kind of back in the real world again, and I can't be bothered. Probably won't.
I definitely missed it as soon as it was gone. Like,
Really?
as soon as I finally like cut it off, because I was cutting off bit by bit, and at one point he had just bleached tips. And then as soon as it was gone, I was like, your face looks so bare. It's just like 2D.
A lot more greys are coming through. So do you think it'll be easier to dye it when it's grey?
Grey hair is kind of coarse, so even though it
So
has
it's the
no
texture thing rather
colour
than the
pigment,
colour.
I think people with grey hair struggle to keep the hair dye in. But you can put like a tint in it, maybe. I don't know. I've never experimented with grey hair, but that's what I've heard. And no guess as to who this question was from.
Okay.
But who's your favourite sibling?
There's one right answer for this, I think.
So I guess it depends on if you guess who asked the question.
Yeah. And if I don't say this person, I'm gonna feel it in future. My answer is Beth. I love them all equally. Like,
of course.
yeah.
But the others wouldn't be as offended if you said Beth, so
Exactly.
you may as well say Beth
Yeah.
to be
Beth.
safe.
Beth.
Which sibling is abusive? Beth. Adam,
Yes.
what is your definition of happiness?
Oh, I've got a few, I think.
Oh, I wasn't prepared for you to be so prepared.
One like core thing that makes me particularly happy, and that's like freedom. Like I love having the freedom to like just live life how I want to live it, and like by having my own place, I've got a lot of freedom. By working, I've got freedom to spend my money on whatever I want to spend it on. One of my favorite things about our relationship is that we both allow so much freedom for each other. Like,
Yeah, we like our own space, but in each other's company.
yeah, we're very respectable of like each other's interests and each other's time. Whatever kind of mood I'm in, I can just do whatever would make us feel good and happy in that moment, and know that things around me are stable.
So what would you say to an alien who crash lands planet Earth and looks at you and says, what's the goal here? Like, how do humans find happiness?
Then I would probably tell them to be loved. I also get a lot of happiness out of knowing that everybody around me at least likes me, or like that feels positively towards us. Like I make a positive impact, and like I love to be loved, and I love to do things that reflects positively. So yeah.
And that's on being an Aquarius sun, a Cancer rising, and a Sagittarius moon.
If you say so.
Adam.
Cool. Yes.
Cool. That's the definition of happiness. A flask of...
Yes. Oh, this is vodka and Coke.
What's something you hope to achieve within your lifetime?
I've actually been talking to Ellie about this recently. Like, Again, there's probably a few things, but I feel like I'm yet to kind of discover what my real kind of personal skills are. And this is what I like to do, to be fair, in a lot of cases, just like wing it through life. And I fall into kind of places like jobs and stuff like that and hobbies. But I've never really discovered, like, in a way, like in the bigger picture, like who I am, like what I am good at in comparison to other people, and what makes me stand out. I would love to discover it, because that gives me like a uniqueness which I could sell, and I could further myself in life and potentially be even happier for it.
It's a good thing to be someone who wings life then, because to discover yourself and find out what it is that you're supposed to be doing, that kind of will come to you naturally. And I think if you're someone who has, this is why like 5-year plans annoy me a little bit. I feel like that kind of blocks off loads of potential opportunities that could have popped up out of the blue and changed your life for like incredible reasons.
Yeah.
If you hadn't been like distracted, I reckon you'll find it, because you're the kind of person who would just like move through life very kind of openly and like spontaneously to a sense. It's a bit like therapy. You have to like unlearn stuff that your parents taught you, or like society told you had to do, and then you're like, oh wait, this is something that I enjoyed.
Even physical kind of work, like I've started to think like I wish I kind of got into that when I was younger, because it's well paid generally, like being a builder and stuff like that. Like a craft, I don't know if I would like it or not until I've tried it. The only reason I say no is because I'm not a physical person like right now, and I probably struggle with my B12 as well. I'm kind of opening myself up to things. It could be something mental or physical, or who knows. But I want to discover, like,
You should just like throw yourself into stuff. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't stick. Just be like, I tried. And then one thing will feel like really good in comparison to the others.
Yeah, the other thing I hope to achieve in life is just to basically, just to live a happy life with no real like drama and like big ups and downs and stuff. Have a family and have a lovely home and stuff where we all just live our lives happily. Like that's, I feel like it's quite a small thing to ask for.
I just want a simple little life too. So it's a pretty good job that
I think ambitious people have 5-year goals, and I wouldn't say I'm like super ambitious. So.
But are you spiritual? This question asks.
I always say no. I don't really follow any kind of religion or like belief or anything like that. But I often get told by Ellie that I'm one of the most spiritual people that she knows.
You kind of remind me of my dad in that respect. They always say that you end up with someone who's like your parent. But my dad isn't a spiritual person. Like he wouldn't call himself that necessarily. But so much of your morals and my dad's morals and like way of seeing life and just doing life is very present. It's very calm. It's very like mindful. Sometimes I think your only downfall is technology. I think sometimes you're so, because you love like games and stuff, that's the only bit where like maybe you're not mindful. There are some people who claim to be spiritual, but they're just like not nice people. They don't give people the benefit of the doubt. They have this like gunk from their past that they like move around with and flick at people. They're like negative and they've got a lot of like work to do inside. But then,
so do you think it's more around like general attitude and belief in being good and stuff like that, rather than belief in something like supernatural in a way?
Yeah, I think if you were to take part in some of the stuff that a quote-unquote spiritual person would do, you would probably find it quite easy. Whereas someone who is trying to be that way might have like years of like trying to break down walls and like...
That makes sense. Just the way I live my life might be, in a sense, spiritual. I believe in things happen because of chance rather than things happen for a reason. Stuff like that. So when it comes to like star signs and talking to people who've like passed on and stuff like that, I don't believe in anything like that. In that sense, me and Ellie are like worlds apart, really. Like we're so different in what we think and believe in, but it makes for interesting conversation. So,
and that leads me to the next question. Actually,
it's almost like I knew this was coming. I've got like a mind's eye.
Do you believe in all of the witchy stuff? Or do you just go along with it because Ellie likes it? And actually, this is something I want to know. Sometimes I'm a bit like, God, is there going to be a certain point where he thinks, oh my Christ?
I don't believe in it, but I like that people are passionate about something, and I love the fact that Ellie's got her thing. Where the line is sometimes, where it kind of gets like a bit too much at times, is where like it's almost the only thing you talk about. And I know you're really into it, and the majority of the time I'm just like, yeah, okay. And then like kind of bouncing back conversation. But sometimes I kind of just switch off. And I don't mean to be nasty, but my kind of point of view is like, I don't believe that any of it's real personally. But that doesn't mean to say that it's not real. I feel like you can only really take so much conversation about something that you don't even believe in.
Like, it's one thing talking with someone about something that you don't really like. For instance, my dad always talks about fishing, and I'm sort of there like,
It's that kind of thing. Like, if
adding an element where like, not only do you not enjoy that hobby, but I also don't think it's a real thing. So it's like, what do I contribute towards in this conversation?
If the belief side wasn't an issue for me, then I would be really into it, because I like statistical things and categorizing things. So like, if it was a real thing, and people who were genuinely grouped into groups like Cancer and Aquarius and stuff acted in certain ways, that's kind of like my field. Like, that's the sort of stuff I enjoy. A lot of the stuff around like tarot are like interesting. For example, I love a lot of the artwork that's involved with tarot cards. It's really cool.
Well, a lot of it is around like gods, goddesses, like myths and legends and history. So you like that part.
So there's a lot of elements that I am interested in. It bugs me now and again when like it's too much a little bit. If it's going to impact our lives, then it'll frustrate me personally. Like, if we start doing things based on like spiritual like readings or like messages from the dead, then I'll start to get a little bit uneasy about it, because it's something that I don't believe in, that's leaking into my life, that's changing the course of our relationship in our life.
That essentially is you trying to like get information from a part of you that you already have. You just sort of need to access it. These decisions that I'm making is still me.
So then it's just kind of unlocking parts of your own mind, and like, that's fine.
Perspectives, which would have already been there if I hadn't believed in all of this stuff, but it maybe not have ever came out. This is why we had this conversation recently, because I've been thinking about it in terms of what point is too far, because like some of the stuff that I'm looking into a lot at the moment and really intrigued and interested in, I even feel is sometimes a little bit out of my own like depth, kind of. Then stuff like rituals, well, rituals I think is more like a mindset thing, so I can see how you might understand those more so. But then like spell work and things like that, which is like a branch off of rituals, which is kind of a ritual, but then it's, I don't know how to bring you into those conversations, because I know it might sound a little bit crazy on the surface of things. At the same time, there's so much that I want to share with you and like talk to you about, that I'm like discovering, because it's still like important to me, because it's a part of me.
I think what you do is great, because it's what you enjoy, and other people love that field as well, and you can potentially inspire people and stuff like that. It's really cool. When it leaks into like personal kind of stuff, it makes us feel a bit uncomfortable. Like my ex once said to us, like in McDonald's or something, she was like, so I know that you're not going to be my last boyfriend, and we're not going to have kids together. And I was like, like, where did you come up with that? And she was like, well, I just know because of this reading that I had or something. So, and that said to me like she'd already given up, because I've been through that, and then felt like that was a really harsh kind of
introduction.
And I wouldn't want that kind of thing to leak into our relationship.
See, I would argue she was already well aware that I don't know the ins and outs of that relationship. There was issues, or but
it wouldn't be long term.
I wouldn't be surprised if she'd asked that question because there was reason to ask that question. Something didn't feel right, or I don't know what the details were, but so the fact that she's picked up on that intuitively. To me, I believe in it speaks to a part of herself that she already knew.
Yeah. And I think one of my pet peeves is when somebody turns around and says, this happened because I believed it was going to happen. What is it? Like manifesting things.
Yeah.
Or like if there's like a miracle that happens and you're like, that happened for a reason because I believe in this. Because God decided to do it. That's why it happened. Anything could happen realistically by chance. And sometimes things happen by chance and coincidences happen that seem too good to be true. I believe that. Like, it's not a case of I believe, really. It's just the way it is that sometimes these things happen. But then because they're far-fetched and unlikely, people then put it down to things outside of random chance. And I'm a firm understander or believer or whatever that random chance is a real thing. Things do happen for no reason, or because you've subconsciously made it happen because you've done things differently. So I don't know. This is where we also like differ like massively.
Whereas I believe I literally met Adam because I had a compulsion to go on a hike one day when I was in my old relationship. And I just sat there and I said to myself, I need to dump my boyfriend. And literally like a week later almost I met you. There was other reasons behind that. Obviously I wouldn't just like randomly say I need to dump my boyfriend. But like a sudden like bravery, a courage where I had to do something that I know I needed to do and I finally could do it.
Mm-hmm. I might have been there at a different time, who knows? It could have been someone else that you're sat here with somewhere else and you're thinking, no, our relationship's perfect and it's everything I've ever wanted with somebody else. I could be with someone else, you could be with someone else, we could both be happy. Never really know, do you? So it's like, is it fate? Because this isn't necessarily the perfect relationship for each other. We'll never ever find out, really, will we? I'm really happy in our relationship. You're really happy in the relationship.
It's true.
To say that we're fated to be with each other, I believe is ignorant to the laws of chance.
Whereas I think intuition brought me here.
And that's fine. That's cool. Like, you believe that? I'll believe what I believe.
Drawn to the hills. Do you ever get tarot readings from Ellie?
Every now and again.
I haven't read you for a long time. I think I was quite crap when I read you, actually.
Well, I'm open to it. Like, if Ellie wanted to practice and stuff, I'm cool with it.
But that's the thing. I used to practice on you, so I probably wasn't the best then.
Yeah. It's a shame I don't believe in it because, like, a lot of people will probably be like, "Oh, it would be so cool to have a partner who loves this kind of stuff and has all these like abilities where they can like." Tell you all these cool things. Like somebody else might be asking you for readings all the time, or you might be like saying, "Oh, like, can I try to do a reading with you?" And then they're like really enthusiastic, whereas I'm just like, "If you want to, yeah."
Well, my reasoning behind why I don't read you is because you are a skeptic and you are also my boyfriend. Not only do I hate reading for people who are trying to like get me to prove something to them. Like I read for people who I can tell are testing me. Because you're not a believer, it makes it difficult because you're also my boyfriend. So like the stuff I come out with isn't going to be very impressive to you necessarily because you're like, well, you know that about me. You know this. You've probably put two and two together.
When you used to go to spiritualist church, there's not one part of me that hates it. Although I don't believe in things. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in spirituality. But I'm open to being persuaded.
Open to being open.
Open to being open.
But I feel like we've said that before in a video.
Yeah. Variety's the spice of life.
I've definitely said that in a video.
I mean, as they say, like, distance helps the heart grow fonder and all of that.
And variety is the spice. I had something valid to say, and like I knew you were gonna laugh at it. That's what set me up. Like, say what you were saying again. And variety is the spice. And variety is the spice of life. Keep that in, just cut the bit out when you start. Yeah, naturally we don't really argue that much, but we argue a little bit more because we're stuck together right now.
and I am like a hard nut to crack. Like
I was just gonna say, but he's a hard nut to crack because it's so weird. Yeah, we are. See,
if there's things where there's no possible other thing that could explain it, which I don't know if that would even be possible. It would have to be like super far-fetched information that absolutely nobody could guess, and it wouldn't apply to anybody else.
Michael Jackson would need to hover down from the ceiling, look you in the eye, and tell you what you had for dinner yesterday.
What did I have again?
He'd need to remind you what you had.
You have to remind us what I had for dinner. Oh, you'd come down and you'd be like, hee, you had pasta. I'd be like,
yeah, mushroom pasta.
I'd be like, which type of pasta though? You'd be like, mushroom. And I'd be like,
mushroom. No, because then you'd be like, well, scientifically, my brain was a little bit tired, so then the chemical imbalance.
But if you saw him as well, and I could touch him.
So, if you are not a witch, what's your secret for looking so young?
All in the genes, baby.
You're not wearing jeans.
I feel like my family generally look quite young for their age. I don't look after myself in terms of like...
Keep out of the sun.
Evidently, I don't get a lot of sunlight. Like, I'm pale as anything.
Sun ages you.
Yeah, but I also feel like because I'm so pale, it makes us look like ill more. And I'm anemic, and that
doesn't help.
Like, my anemia explains a lot of why I look ill a lot of the time. But I feel like a little bit of sun exposure would give me at least like a healthy complexion to a degree. If I don't just burn all the time with ginger skin.
Don't go outside, have anemia.
Yeah, just stay in your parents' basement. Go through life just happy-go-lucky, like, look at everything positively. Don't let things linger on your mind. Don't overthink things.
Live and let live.
Yeah. It'll be kind to your mind and your body, I think.
Stay away from drama.
Stay away from drama. Especially don't cause drama.
When did you realise you were absolutely in love with Ellie?
Did you ask this question?
No, I don't even remember who asked this question, but it's definitely there.
Fairly early, at least. I feel like it's a very familiar question, and I think I'm thinking along the same sort of lines again.
You probably ask yourself this every day.
I do.
I can't tell if that was an insult or...
Well, now that I think about it, it probably did sound bad, but no, what I mean is, like, I genuinely often just, like, sit and think to myself sometimes. You've got all these, like, good qualities, and, like, I'm really lucky to have you, and, like, it's good to have, like, a lingering kind of
smell. It's me. Like a
reminder. Like, if you've got the kind of mind that you remind yourself and kind of humble yourself as to, like, what you have in life, and, like, appreciate what you have around you and stuff, it really does make you, like, look at something like your house or your partner or your kids or whatever, and think how lucky you are for, like, having what you have. And
gratitude.
Yeah, I've got a lot of gratitude.
And this is why I think you're a spiritual person.
Well,
that's really cute. I didn't know you thought about that.
Yeah, I might not talk about it, but I think it keeps us grounded, and it keeps us, like,
humble.
Yeah. I don't know if there was a particular point where I was like, holy crap, like, I really love this person. But, like, from the start, like, I thought you were gorgeous, and, like, when I got to know your personality after, I thought that you hated us.
Hated you? That's
well, yeah,
strong.
when we first, like, started seeing each other, and you wouldn't talk to us.
I was shy.
Yeah, well, I know that now.
Oh, don't.
So at that point, I really wasn't sure what was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, when you start coming out your shell and stuff, and I got to know you as a person, like, yeah, like, just the way you are, like, it's just ideal for me, like.
Just the way you are, it's ideal.
Yeah, you're pretty ideal.
Are you going to pop the question?
Did you ask that one?
No.
It's an awkward question, just because.
He's an Aquarius.
I don't really believe marriage is, like, a huge deal anyway. It's more like official, like, paperwork than it is anything else. And things like that kind of bug us. So, like, things like that put me off. In a weird way. Do you know how I said freedom's my happy place? Mm-hmm. Not that you would take away from my freedom personally, but the idea of marriage
Yeah.
it feels like it's a step away from freedom, even though I would never expect anything between me and you to be bad in that sense.
Yeah, we wouldn't change, but you are doing something that like binds your soul in this weird like contract to another soul.
And the only reason I would ever get married like to you is because I know that it would make you really happy, and like I know that marriage is also a way to show to the world around you that you are with this person dedicated for the rest of your life. Like, and that's fine, that's cool. Like I like the idea of it. Like it sounds romantic and like nice, but at the end of the day, if my happy place is freedom, not that I ever want to like run away from what we have, it's the fact that I'm really happy with how we are. I don't want that to change, and I'm also kind of scared by big changes. I don't like being in the spotlight, which is kind of this. I'm on camera though, so it's fine. But like,
wedding days are very intense.
yeah, the fact that it's so expensive, and then going into the ceremony and everybody's looking at you, combined with the things I've already said, really kind of terrifies us in a way. And it makes us kind of sad as well, because I know that you want it. And I feel like the next big thing on my mind is getting a house together.
Yeah.
And I feel like once I've got into that house and I'm settled, then I can start thinking about marriage, kids, like the other big things in life. God, like for someone who like wings it and doesn't plan things, like getting a house is enough to take over my entire future plans. So.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's so much money. The truth is, we don't even have the money to get married. So, like, what's the point in proposing?
It's taken years to save to get a deposit for a house.
Yeah, and
So
if I was to get married, I used to want a big white wedding. Now I want like a little pub lunch. No, I just want something really like small and intimate. There's not a rush, because I don't think it will take that long to plan our wedding. Ultimately, like when we decide, it will kind of happen immediately. I had to ask this question because 2 people asked the same question pretty much.
okay.
What advice would you give to your younger self? And the other one was, if you could go back in time and give 16-year-old you advice, what would it be?
Ooh, 16 is actually a really good point as well, because I was going to talk about college and uni and stuff. On the back of like the whole like discovering who I am kind of thing, from talking to other people and then seeing the reality of the world around us and stuff, like growing up, don't go to college and university just because like you didn't know what to do, because it's the easy way out. Like, because obviously you go through life at school and then education's all that you know, and then the big world around you seems really scary. So then for a lot of people who haven't had any work experience, like real work experience, and they don't know what to do, generally people go to college and then just pick something that interests them, or like in my case, I went and did IT at college and university, and the only reason I did that was because I was better at IT than anything else, but I wasn't like really good at IT. So it was kind of like a cop-out for me, because I've always been very like shy and kind of like in a bubble when I was little.
It's pushed on you as well to go to college and uni at a weird age where you're still learning who the hell you are.
I always felt like going to college and university was to get a higher education to then get a better job than people who haven't been to college and university before. But then like leaving college and university and working in the real life, the majority of cases that I've heard of other people going to college and university, a lot of people get into jobs that don't even use their degrees, and they're generally on a much lower pay than people who would take like an apprenticeship, for example. So my advice to myself, either just leave school and get a job and figure out in that time what it is that I really want to do, or like get into for a career long term. Even if I need time to think about it for a little while, or dabble in a couple of things, figure it out at a young age, and then take an apprenticeship, earn money, even if it's not much, earn a little bit of money while I'm on the job, learn a lot on the job, and then work my way up the ranks, and then I'll be in a better position now than I would have been had I done what I've already done in life, which is just go to university, fall into the roles I've fallen into.
And feel kind of trapped.
I feel kind of trapped. I feel like I have to start again, and I'm in my early 30s.
Creative degrees are weird, like that you don't need them, let's face it.
And it's expensive as hell. Like,
yeah. And I look at apprenticeships and I'm like, oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that now. It was like a cool free opportunity. Well, I say free. A lot of them you're paid for. Opportunity into like a production house or something.
You could still do it. Like I could still do an apprenticeship if I wanted to.
I just feel like you have the benefit of being young when you're straight out of school, so like you can make mistakes a bit more.
Yeah, and you're gonna learn more stuff easier.
And plus, you don't have that excuse of like being 16 years old.
What the hell
Sounds
was
like
that?
a trailer that was like bobbing up and down.
Quickfire?
The last couple of questions are actually going to be shameless self-promotion because we've actually made videos in itself about these things. The first one being, would you ever dye your hair to match Ellie's? We literally have a video on this. I'll leave a link somewhere, it's going to pop up. And the second question was, what was your first thought when you saw Ellie? And we've spoken about this in good, thorough detail on our very second video together. We did the boyfriend and girlfriend tag and answered those kind of questions.
And that'll be a much better and more accurate kind of representation because it was still fresh.
It's closer to the time.
Yeah. So like, if I was to answer it now, then
We're so young as well.
there's probably things I have kind of naturally forgotten about. See how different we are as a person and as a couple.
Thanks for being interviewed
That's cool.
by me.
I thought it was really fun actually.
Yay!
I've missed it.
Let us know what you want us to do in the comment section, please. Right this very second.
Oh, my hand's so red.
I know. You've got red pigment.
It's like a white and red kind of pigment skin. Nobody asked me like any like video game stuff
Oh.
or anything like
Oh, he's deflated.
I'm involved with. I'm not deflated, but what's going on in my life since it's an interview for me? I'm working as an analyst. It's okay. I want to figure out if it's what I want to do long term. I got a Switch like a year ago, so I've been playing a lot of Switch recently. I've got Triangle Strategy recently, and that's really good fun. It reminds me of PSP games like Tactics Ogre and Final Fantasy Tactics and stuff like that. So that's my kind of thing. Yeah, I'm just cruising through life. I'm just doing whatever I like to do. And
Working from home still?
the majority of the time I'm working from home, although I'm kind of being told to go back into the office a bit more. So if nothing else, this is for me to look back at in like 10 years time and be like, oh, that's where I was at that time. So
But hey, if you've got any more like personal questions, personal as in like,
if you want to know me a bit better personally, then ask away.
maybe even ask them in the comments and you can be in the comments replying to them. People might want to know what you're playing. What's the last thing that you bought? What's the last game you bought?
Oh, we started playing
It Takes Two.
It Takes Two.
And it's really bloody good.
Yeah.
Very impressed.
It looks like quite a generic multiplayer game on the surface.
It's very
But and it's kind of like its own unique story. Highly recommended 2-player game. You can play it either couch co-op, so like in the same room, or if you or a friend buys it, the other person can download the game for free and then play it online together. So only one person needs to buy it. So
It's really well made and like it has little nods to classic PlayStation games as well.
yeah, it's like a
blend.
platformer puzzle game.
Yeah.
Where you have to work together to figure things out.
But then there's mini games as well.
Yeah, mini games and you fight bosses and stuff like that. It's good fun.
And it's very aesthetically pleasing, like the locations and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
I think a lot of people would really enjoy it.
If you liked The Borrowers, the movie, you'll like it.
Yeah.
I think
Or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, that I never watched that as a kid, so I'm more of a
okay.
borrower. You're more of a Honey, I Shrunk
Yeah.
the Kids.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys. We need to dash. It's Easter, and we are. It's Easter, and we're celebrating at his family's house, so we're gonna head off there now. Thanks for watching. See you for the next one. Adam will be back.
Yeah, thank you for the questions. It's been fun.
Subscribe to my channel to be notified every time I make a brand new video. I'm on social media such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Nincompoop. I have a tarot reading Instagram and a tarot reading Facebook group page if you want to book a tarot reading with me at Tarot of Ellie on Facebook or Mindfully Mystic on Instagram. See you soon.
Bye.
Aww. What a lovely little boy.